Holding space in the middle of the battle. A dream about redemption, illusion, and being seen inside a collective mission. The dream. Captain America, myself, and several other Avengers are closing in on a compound where we're attempting to neutralize an opposing force. Among them is Black Widow, who has defected. As we approach, I notice rows of walls painted with optical illusions, images that look like openings or holes, but are actually solid. I realize these are traps meant to lure people into dead ends. I make a mental note to warn the team. At one point, we're in conversation with Black Widow. She explains how she started thinking about breaking off, possibly teaming up with her sister, because she felt invisible within the Avengers. When she finishes speaking, one of the Avengers bluntly says, "Well, you're not welcome with us." Captain America immediately shushes him. He wants to hear her out. He wants redemption to remain possible. Later, as fighting breaks out, I explicitly warn the team not to follow the illusion-painted hallways, explaining they'll get stuck if they do. 2 boxes appear. One contains mild contents. The other is filled with dangerous creatures, scorpions, and other harmful things. For a moment, I mix up which box is which. Black Widow is compelled to place her hand into one of them as some form of punishment or test, and she ends up putting her hand into the dangerous box. I caution her, knowing what's inside, and wait with a sense of dread, expecting some karmic consequence to follow. During the chaos, I look up at a tree as an explosion appears to rip through it. Debris rains down, but then I realize it's a filming trick, an illusion designed to protect the real tree while still creating the effect of destruction. I feel relieved, having initially felt grief at the thought of nature being casually destroyed for spectacle. Black Widow starts explaining the illusion just as I do, and we talk over each other. I feel oddly competitive about being the one who knew first. I even start fumbling her name, calling her Black Sparrow, Jack Widow, Blackjack, mixing Black Widow with Jack Sparrow in a way that feels playful but also revealing. Later, the battle energy shifts. Black Widow is now among us. She talks about how, in the heat of combat, time slows down. She explains that in mission mode, she tunes all of that out. It feels like a lesson, maybe even a gentle rebuke. I respond by demonstrating. I describe noticing a small detail, a coffee cup, then leap into the air, entering a freeze frame glide. I hover and slowly move across the room, floating over allies and enemies alike, moving through space without urgency or gravity. I scout 2 enemies in the next room and report their location. Those 2 enemies later approach us through a window, casually drinking soda. One hands me the remainder of his drink. I hold onto his wrist, signaling that we've got him. The situation de-escalates. We're not sure if they're surrendering or just irrelevant, but the tension dissolves. Toward the end, Black Widow and I discuss a provocative proposition involving intimacy. Structured, conditional, transactional. I feel both intrigued and disinterested at the same time. Despite the intensity of everything else, I'm simply not in the mood. Vibration interpretation. This dream centers on belonging versus erasure. Black Widow's defection isn't framed as betrayal, it's framed as invisibility. Her shadow doesn't come from malice, but from not being seen. The sharp contrast between the dismissive Avenger and Captain America highlights 2 approaches to conflict: efficiency versus integration. The illusion walls, the fake explosions, and the staged destruction all echo the same theme. Things are not always what they appear, especially in systems built for performance and outcomes. Some traps aren't malicious, they're aesthetic, but they still immobilize. The dangerous box reflects punitive justice versus restorative space. Even when someone deserves consequences, there's hesitation, an awareness of how easily harm can become spectacle. The slow-motion fight represents conscious awareness inside chaos, the ability to notice small details, stretch time, and move without brute force. This contrasts sharply with Black Widow's mission mode, suggesting two equally valid survival strategies: immersion and observation. Finally, the sexual proposition losing its charge suggests a deeper recalibration. Power, availability, and excitement no longer automatically equate to desire. Choice is becoming more refined. DJ Dreamy Spin? The moment that stayed with me was Captain America shushing the Avenger who tried to silence Black Widow. That felt like leadership. People want to belong, but not at the cost of disappearing. They want to contribute, but also be heard, especially when confronting their shadow or explaining why they strayed. Raising the vibration of the planet doesn't mean eliminating conflict or defectors. It means holding space long enough for reintegration to become possible. Some leaders rush to finish the mission. Others slow down long enough to save the team from fracturing itself. This dream reminded me that redemption isn't efficient, but it's powerful. And sometimes the most heroic act isn't winning the battle, but refusing to silence someone who's finally telling the truth. Questions to raise your vibration. Where in your life have you, or someone else, defected simply because they felt unseen? When conflict arises, do you default to efficiency, or do you leave room for voice and reintegration?